Well, welcome everyone. This is the Veterans Show, um, coordinated and hosted by the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. We conduct this show once a month to bring veterans and those who serve the veteran community across the United States. We are currently in California, and so we have two very cool guests today. And I would like to without any delay, introduce our first guest as Zach Clark. He has an amazing program where he's supporting veterans, homeless veterans in the area of San Diego and my belief is the entire state of California. So I would like to welcome Zach.
Great. Thanks,
Welcome,
Joe.
Zach.
Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure, and thank you for joining our show. And first time I heard about your program, I thought was really amazing. You want to tell us a little bit about your company and about your program?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. And to it's always hard to condense 5+ years of work into a pretty succinct explanation, but this is my best go at it. So
Go.
I moved to San Francisco in 2020. I studied business at the University of San Francisco, and I found myself living in a neighborhood called the Tenderloin. And for those who aren't familiar, uh, the Tenderloin in San Francisco has a significant portion of the city's homeless population there. And so during COVID, I just started talking to people who lived outside my building and learned that among the many challenges faced by someone experiencing homelessness, many people had shared that they had phones, but they kept uh, dying and not having places to charge them. And their belongings were also constantly being stolen or damaged. And so I ran with that among many interviews to devote about a year developing what's called our makeshift traveler. And it's a solar powered hard shell backpack um, that we launched on October 1st, 2022. It was initially only launched in San Francisco, but this year we delivered a little over 2,000 packs across 25 cities in California. Those are cities as south as San Diego, cities as north as places like Eureka and Redding. So we've really casted a wide net in who we've served, but not only in the cities, but also the demographics. So we've received a number of grants to serve specifically veterans experiencing homelessness, women experiencing homelessness, and a variety of other different marginalized sub communities within the unhoused population. So I could talk your ear off about it, but that's kind of the very simple explanation of what we're up to.
Well, thank you. That was a very good explanation. And once when I learned about your program, I thought it was extremely impressive, extremely innovative, and it kind of really provides the resources to the veteran who otherwise will have no way to, um, like you said, charge their phone, but it also has other things in the backpack,
Yeah.
and kind of like it's more like a survival kit, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So each pack is it's a hard shell pack. It has a solar panel, a battery, and then a USB charging port. It also has a built-in pillow that can be inflated by stuffing clothing inside. And then inside of the pack, we include things like a tent, a sleeping bag, a radio, a flashlight, poncho, a bunch of other stuff. So we really designed it to be what we like to think is the last backpack someone who's homeless will ever need. And I will say that we're very realistic in our approach. We don't give these out and think that we're ending homelessness. We realize that it's a very small part of the equation. But we've given out packs to thousands of people, many of which who follow up later and say, this backpack allowed me to maintain a connection with my case manager or to be able to make my appointments. And for a lot of people, especially as homelessness has become, you know, even more remote, um, having access to power is extremely important. So that's what we've tried to lean into.
Oh, that's very cool. Very, very, very interesting. And so, were you the one that came up with this idea, or was it other people involved with you?
Yeah, so it was, I like to think that most of the ideas came directly from the people that I spoke to who were experiencing homelessness outside my building. Some of those ideas were a little bit crazy, like, can you put a pizza oven in it or something? Like, can this make me fly? So
Right.
those ideas, of course, we had to say no to, but most of the features came directly from those people. And so we worked with a product designer throughout 2021. And at the time, keep in mind, I was a freshman in college, so I didn't have much savings to begin with, but I put most of my savings into, trying to develop a prototype. And we got that prototype funded within about a year. So
Mm.
that was the launching pad. We had about 500 units to deliver starting October 1st, 2022.
Mhm.
And thankfully, it's a very eye-catching design, especially the first version, which was green. That was a huge mistake because within a few weeks, I had people coming up to me and saying, "Where can I get the turtle shell backpack?" And I was like, "We really screwed up." So now it's gray.
All right.
um, but yeah, so we're kind of your textbook small organization had an idea and we're trying to grow it now.
Excellent. And all those things, the backpack and the things that you put in it, I mean, they'll have a cost. So, what's the average cost that your organization has to consider to build each one?
Yeah, so great question. And, I think that is an important thing in any of this work is like, we can't all just throw money at the wall. So each pack, we deliver it at two price points. The lower end is $100 per pack. That includes the backpack, security lock, and charging cables. So on that $100, the materials landed to us in our storage facility in Hayward, California, is about $89.05. So we take about $10.95 to support our operations and administrative costs. And then the second price point is $150. That's the unit that comes with the tent, sleeping bag, and all of those items. And we net about $20 from those packs. So, pretty small margins. I think like where this fits within the whole homeless services realm, um, we always say that this is not a substitute for housing. So if agencies or foundations give us funding, they're not giving us funding that otherwise would have gone towards housing individuals. Um, Agencies, nonprofits already have huge budgets of basic needs that are distributed through outreach and other events. And so we're simply trying to provide a better alternative than what's currently being distributed.
Okay, well, again, I'm very impressed by your idea, and that's really a real business success is when you kind of start with the idea, and then you go forward and build it and make it, regardless the size, what it is. It's always big because it's your idea, your concept, and now you see it through and you see it functioning the way it should be. And that's a successful story. And that's very impressive.
Great.
So how can the National Veterans Chamber work with you to help you even expand the reach through not necessarily individuals or not just individuals, but organizations that also serve homeless veterans or homeless people, then how can we help you? How can we work with you and support your endeavor?
Yeah. Well, thanks for offering. That means a lot. And, I guess good news is that veteran homelessness is, I believe, to my knowledge, the only subpopulation that saw a decrease in the past few years. There are still, I believe, over 30,000 veterans experiencing homelessness across the United States, which is, 30,000 too many. But that is a population that has seen a decrease, which is good. Um, as far as helping us and partnering with us, we first of all, and Joe, you know this, but we're gonna send you guys some packs to test out and hopefully distribute to some unhoused veterans in San Diego. But we have built our organization on working with different government agencies. We've worked with a number of veterans departments across California, from Solano to Palo Alto to Los Angeles. So those kind of relationships are great. But we've also worked with a number of nonprofits that serve veterans across California. So I think, it's cliche to say that partnerships are the way to get things done, but especially in the nonprofit space, which is typically strapped for funding and infrastructure, partnerships are the way forward. So, we'd be grateful for any introductions.
Oh, absolutely. And no, and you're right. Partnerships and relationships is really what keeps businesses moving forward, whether it's a for-profit partnership or a nonprofit partnership. Those relationships they mean a lot and make things a lot easier to grow and to expand. So yeah, I have some ideas, and maybe we can chat offline and offer you our support, and whether we are, because we have locations in different places, then we can also use those resources to expand your reach. So happy to work with you, and so as you know, when we're talking and having a nice conversation, time always flies. So we run out of time. So, but thank you, Zach, for participating in this interview. We'd love to have you back and maybe bring one or two people that have benefited from using your service, your resource, and we'll be able to kind of um, give it even more um, notice to the public. And again, uh, even though we support veterans, but I understand that there's other people who also need that, and so we're not limiting ourselves to just veterans, but the rest of the community that we also would like to support. So thank you very much, and uh, look forward to seeing you again soon. And now we're going to invite our second guest that you also met. So we would like to say thank you to you, Zach, and invite Mario to come to for his interview. And
Hey, how you doing, Joseph? Can you hear me, sir?
I'm doing good. I can hear you really well. And so
Perfect.
you have a pretty cool and interesting story. So I know you were part of the Navy SEAL.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So one of the things that we would like to focus this interview on is your time in and also your transition as a civilian. And and so we would like to start with just giving us a kind of overview of what it is that you do now, and then we go from there.
Okay, so Mario Wilson, I work at Western Steel Council. I'm currently the business development director. So Western Steel Council, we're an employer association that is comprised around 53 different construction subcontractors for steel construction. So my main day-to-day job is to connect my subcontractors with general contractors find deals, find project development, and be kind of liaison for business development. That's my day-to-day job. Um, Previous to that, I was 13 years in the SEAL teams. Transitioned out at the end of 2019. Kind of had a game plan, kind of took things for granted, but what I did soon realize is like it was very hard for veterans to translate their skills in the military and how to translate them to the private sector. So I had a really rough transition trying to translate all those skills and to find something that also brought purpose. So that's kind of what brought me here, brought me at Western Steel Council and some of the nonprofits I help out with.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because there is a lot of us who transition from the military into a civilian workplace. Once we get out of the military, we go through a kind of tunnel where we don't know, there's no windows on the tunnel, and we're
Yeah.
just kind of trying to find the light that we had when we were in. So I'm guessing, because being in so deep into the training mode, like as a Navy SEAL, it will make it very difficult to find something that was an equal match. Was there anything that or anything or anyone that provide you some type of support or mentorship?
So there are programs that do now, and I will get into those. But did I do those when I got out? Absolutely not. So I learned the hard way, and there's a lot of guys learning the hard way right now. That's some of the things that me and some of the nonprofits I work for and with are trying to prevent. Because, like you said, Joe, it's like translating that amount of purpose as a Navy SEAL to a day-to-day job, and you find yourself working in a cubicle or something that you're just trying to make money from a job that we didn't do for the money, you know. And as a man and a veteran and a American patriot, that was hard to translate and that was hard to find. And when I got out, I made it I was very adamant about stepping away from that line of work. And something we say is like, hang up the gun, hang up the kit. I wanted to do something completely different because I had 2 kids at the time. And I was like, I need to give my children the time that they deserve. I can't keep my foot in that world. So I need to go do something completely different. But that didn't work out necessarily in the beginning. I didn't find the purpose I needed. I was kind of just spinning wheels. And then next thing you know, you're just trying to make money and support your family. And that's what kind of leads to a lot of veterans' demise, if you will, is it relinquishes them of the purpose that they once had. And it doesn't put them in necessarily the best headspace, if you will. So that's why I started transitioning to seeing how I could assist nonprofits help our veterans find purpose in jobs and occupations that they enjoy.
And I'm thinking once we find that little click, the little crack in the window, then we can start navigating through it. But you're right. You kind of join, and really quick, I mean, when you go through this transition issue, don't you feel like you're on your own, like by yourself, like this never happened to anyone? Don't you feel that way?
Yes, sir. And I think that's something I did to myself that wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary, if you will. I tried so hard to get away from my community of the SEAL teams because I wanted to like separate myself from it to become this new version of me that I didn't realize how much of a foundational community that is for me and I do need it. That is something that I learned, like I said, after I learned the hard way, I found myself back in the SEAL community with these nonprofits like Beyond the Brotherhood, the SEAL Future Foundation, the Honor Foundation, etc., where I have special operation brothers that I work with and we help each other out because we get each other, we understand how each other's work. You know, it's not as politically correct as you need to be all the time, but we can help each other give guidance on what it looks like to get these positions, what these positions actually look like, and expectation management. And some people to lean on, whether that's on the normal occupational route, entrepreneurship route, investing route, etc. Like we have massive amount of networks for the military right now that our brothers and sisters need to lean on and not get away from. And there's a lot of people out there to help you to make sure that your transition is as good as we can make it.
Right. And you have basically described one of the reasons why we started the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce, to build that bridge instead of a tunnel, build a bridge that, because we understand as being one like that, the difficulty there is to translate that mindset and that purpose into something different, and understanding the psychology behind it. It really helps people who are transitioning from the military into a civilian job experience, how to do all those things that you mentioned. So anything that the Veterans Chamber can do to support you or those that you know that are transitioning out, we're happy to participate with you. And how do you see that working in your current environment?
Well, in my normal day-to-day occupational job, which is business development director, I work decently high up in the construction industry on the West Coast. One way I try to assist with that, I also am the program director of workforce development for our industry. So part of that is connecting veterans to jobs with my employers. But then that's also access to employers like our general contractors and other subs trying to get veteran jobs. I have one nonprofit I'm on the board with, which is Viper Transitions. Viper Transitions is another program that we assist veterans getting out for labor jobs, electricians, iron workers, etc. I have Soft Skills, which is I'm partnered up with another partner of mine, if you will, and that's assisting veterans start their own construction companies. And then we have Beyond the Brotherhood and SEAL Future Foundation, where the pillars are employment. The thing that I have the people who are looking for jobs. I need more employers to get these veterans in front of. And I have complete expectation management of like, hey, once the veteran gets there, we can let them through the door and get them in front of the right person. But at the end of the day, it's them doing the rest of the work. So we can assist them in prepping the environment for them and making sure they're most successful for that interview process. And that's something we have a lot of nonprofit support in already, but it's about getting the employers that are willing to hire these veterans. Because one of the things that I found out is when it comes down to their purpose, in the military, we're getting paid every month. We have our benefits, our families are taken care of. It's kind of, you can stay in 20 years and that will stay that the whole entire time. But once you get out, you don't have that support system, you don't have that guarantee. And as soon as veterans cannot support their families like they could before, it starts eating away at them and starts eating away at their mental health. And then we start throwing in PTSD, traumatic brain injuries on top of that, lack of purpose. And that's where we kind of get the veteran suicide rate so high that we have right now, from my understanding, from what I've seen on the ground down here. So if I have to ask of anything and what we could get from the Veterans Chamber is employer support willing to hire veterans. I will take anybody willing to hire veterans. And I have all levels of people that are interested in jobs at those companies.
Okay. Well, I think that's a really good starting point, that we can coordinate or collaborate. We can talk offline. So I do have some ideas to present to you in ways that we work with employers to get them be veteran ready. Because there's also a switch, a mindset change on the part of the employers that needs to take place. So we have tools and resources that can help you identify the best employers that are veteran ready and that you can connect with. But we'll talk offline on about that. So, and again, thank you for participating in this interview. It was great meeting you, Mario. And we are out of time, but we would love to have you back, cover different topic, and always a pleasure to meet veterans that are helping other veterans or the community itself.
Well, thank you, Joseph, for having me. And whatever you guys need, please let me know. I'll talk to you soon, sir.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. And with this, we conclude our December interview at the Veterans Show. As you can see, we bring real life scenarios and important resources for our veteran community. With this, I will say thank you very much for attending the interview. If you're visiting us online, thank you very much for participating. And we look forward to seeing you in 2026.